Hi, I'm Norman Perillo, a furniture designer maker at Perillo Design and a woodworking educator author at WoodSkills. And today I'd like to talk about a new portable tool case I'll be building over the next week or two. I'll show you an upcoming image of the actual tool case, and it's a tool case that originates from a Yeung Chan design. I had taken a furniture-related course with Yeung Chan about exactly 20 years ago at a furniture making school, a local furniture making school, and I was completely in awe of this portable tool case he brought along from San Francisco, and he traveled with it to teach and had the tools he used the most in his hand tool woodworking. Hand planes, saws, chisels mostly, and some measuring and layout tools. So I was in awe of it, and I told myself I'd like to perhaps build one day, and that time has come. I'm going to be going through all the steps in my build, and not too much detail, but an overview initially, and then all the subsequent steps on building it, and I'll show the first part of the possibly three-part series, and I'll be talking about how I laid out the tools and how it's critical to lay out the tools for your own, the tools you have in your own hand tool woodworking, your own chisels, saws, because they all come with different lengths. Some handsaw lengths and chisel lengths have been standardized, but some manufacturers don't follow any conventions, so they have longer ones or shorter ones. It depends on what you use. I'm going to be using this portable tool case when I travel and give woodworking demonstrations and teach woodworking techniques, hand tool oriented woodworking techniques. So I've assembled most of the tools that I'll be using. I'll have a couple of jigs to bring along too, but these are all the tools, the important tools that I use in my hand tool woodworking. So it's going to be an interesting build, and something I've wanted to build for almost 2 decades now. This is a book, one of Yeung Chan's, I think, his only books. So I actually have a signed copy here from that very same class in 2004 in Almont, Ontario, Canada, and it was something to Norman. I hope you like the idea of my book. Enjoy woodworking. Good luck with your tools. I appreciate coming to my class. So that's interesting. There's an image. Here's the image. It's an image of myself with Yeung Chan, standing next to Yeung Chan, along with that portable tool case. Now, what I did at the time is I took some rough dimensions of the exterior dimensions of the case, the depth, the two sides, the depth on both sides because they're actually different, the width and the length of it, but I had not taken some of the inner compartment dimensions of the dividers, but not everything. So I'm working by eye at the moment. I'm basing everything on a photograph or two and what I remember of the tool case. But the photograph is sufficient enough for me to work with, along with the dimensions I've just described. So it's going to be exciting for me. You'll see in the first part of this video that I already have everything laid out, and it's taken me almost a day or two to lay everything out to what I prefer in a layout. And it's also similarly based to what he had in his own portable tool case. I'll have some concerns about the weight, but I think he addressed it by making it structurally strong by using glues where you normally don't use glues. So I'm going to be implementing that criteria in the build. Along with that, it's mostly hand tools in there and layout tools. The second or third video we'll delve into the actual build itself after I've broken the wood down from a plank down to usable pieces, and I can work with the pieces, dimension them correctly, and create the exterior frame for the two sides of the portable tool case, and also start working on the dividers. So it's very critical that I get the dimensions right. I'm Norman Perillo from WoodSkills, and I'd like to talk about a few woodworking books I've written. My recent book is Quiet Woodworking in an Unquiet World. It talks about my movement to hand tools From high-tech to low-tech, a woodworker's journey, which chronicles my journey from my former high-tech career to my current furniture making career. Along with that, I offer courses through woodskills.com. The courses range from a basic woodworking course right through to furniture design and a comprehensive design and making course. All books are available in both print and digital format. So back to the tool case. This is a scale drawing of one of the sides of the tool case that house my chisels, my smaller marking instruments, smaller chisels, detail chisels, and spoke shaves, and a beading tool. So I've had to spend a considerable amount of time laying this out because this limited amount of size, and I don't want this tool case to be too large in both the length and the width of the dimensions. It then becomes unwieldy. So I've sort of fitted everything, try to be with just enough space to be able to move them around or be able to remove them from each of the compartments. So all the compartments are customized to my chisels, and I found out a few things along the way that chisel lengths are not standardized between manufacturers. Each manufacturer will, depending on the length of the handle, the tang, or the socket, will have much longer, much shorter chisels for the same application. So I'll run into this. So I've had to actually tailor the length of the compartments to the some of my longest chisels, whereas the middle section has the smaller tools, marking tools primarily, a couple of awls, and some detail. Yeung Chan, these detail chisels are Veritas detail chisels based on a Yeung Chan design. Again, the tool case is primarily based on a Yeung Chan tool case that I actually experienced firsthand. I saw it firsthand in a class, furniture making class I attended 20 years ago at Rosewood Studio. And I was standing next to this, and I was so impressed with it that I told myself I'd make one of these one day. And of course, the day has arrived, and I've postponed it long enough. It's only been 20 years. The next step for me is to create a similar template to scale for the other side of the tool case and build it up with the planes I have. I have a couple of more planes to add to this. My back saws, my Japanese pull saws, I should say, and some smaller marking and measuring tools that, depending on what I've got left as regards to space, I can create compartments for. So it's quite an exciting build for me because I like to work with detail. So I've even gone as far as penciling in the joinery on this scale template. So I brought the camera in for a closer view of the layout of the left-hand side of the tool case that will house the chisels, some awls, measuring tools, spoke shaves, and the beading tool I mentioned earlier that I got a small compartment for. Again, the chisels vary in length, so I've had to accommodate one of the longest lengths because the divisions need to be uniform in height, as you can see. So this is, for example, the first level. The second level is the shorter instruments along with my detail chisels. So I have a considerable amount of chisels. I have the spoke shaves and I have the beading tool. And next you could probably see a little better layout here, a little better detail of the layout and how I've divided the outside of the case with the inner divisions, and I'm going to be creating rabbets for each of the compartment lengths. And then next I'll be creating a right-hand side of the tool case that will house the Japanese back saws, Japanese tools, and my wooden hand planes. I've got 2 more planes that I'm going to be adding to this. Along with that, I'll try to determine how much space I've got left for some other measuring and marking tools that I need. So I'll be using the case primarily for when I travel, when I give demonstrations, when I travel to teach a course on joinery or furniture making or woodworking. Also for demonstration purposes, I've been asked to go around and give demonstrations of a lot of the joinery I create, so I always need particular tools that I normally use in my joinery, and these are the tools. So I'll work on that second side. I'll develop the same template and on cardboard and work that, and then once I've got it all finalized, I can start cutting out the parts. And the case itself will be made out of walnut, as I've talked about earlier. So I've configured the second part of the tool case, the portable tool case, to house my Japanese saws for the most part, a plain adjusting hammer, a long rule, some measuring angles and tools, and a combination of both Western style and Japanese hand planes. This will serve as a block plane, the smaller one. It's about 6 inches long, and this is a 9.5 inch smoother. I have my wood smoothers, a wood smoother, and this would serve as a jointer. It's about 14 inches long. Some more measuring tools, and I have these compartments are fairly deep, so I can actually put more tools into each one. It's just a horizontal layout, but they will be mounted. They're horizontally mounted now for visualization, but they will be mounted on their side. Once the cabinet is, it's about 3.5 to 4 inches deep, 3/4 inches deep. So what I'll do is I'll set this up with the first part that I showed earlier, and you can actually get a better visualization of what the tool case will look like on both sides before I even start building it. We're in the design stage of this tool case now, and it's very critical that I get it right with the sizes of tools that I have, as opposed to the original version of this from Yeung Chan. So I'm working with a couple of photos again, and I'm working with some notes and some rough measurements I took at the time 20 years ago. And so it's quite interesting because it's the intricate inner joinery, and obtaining the strength of the cabinet to house all these tools is very critical. And I'll assemble everything together, and you can get a better visualization of what the tool case will look like when it's open. So I've assembled both the left hand and the right hand sections of the portable tool case, and I've laid out the tools. So I have a series of chisels here. I probably need a few more than I would ever use, but they're all in the different sizes. The smaller sizes specifically is what I use for detail work. Some awls, some honing tools, some marking tools, and some detail chisels in this section. These are actually a Yeung Chan series of detail chisels issued by Veritas a number of years ago. I don't think they manufacture them anymore, but they're very small paring detail chisels. A set of wood spoke shaves. They're vintage spoke shaves, but they work really well. I've restored them. And a small beading tool I created a number of years ago. On the opposite side, it's a deeper portion of the cabinet with my Japanese saws, mainly Dozukis, Ryoba, a rule, and a different length of Dozuki with a different tooth pattern, and a plain adjusting hammer. And a series of wood hand planes. The two on the right are the two hand planes that I actually designed and made a number of years ago. Western style planes, and these are Japanese planes, Japanese style kanas. There is a small block plane and a 9.5 inch smoother. So this complements what I have. This would serve as a jointer, this 14 or 15 inch plane. Then I have a series of layout tools up there and some more measuring tools at the bottom. But these are, this is flexible. I just put them there just as placeholders. The compartment is quite deep, at 3.5 inches, so I can probably put some more tools in. And same with here, some pencils or erasers and some other smaller tools that I need. But this is primarily what I use mostly in my woodworking when I provide demonstrations or teach woodworking. Now the interesting thing is the layouts are done to scale. So this one is actually to scale, and I've trimmed them for better appearance, for better aesthetic. And this one's scale also, so they're done to scale. So I can almost cut the components out from these drawings, including the joinery. Now that I've finalized the layouts, which the critical part of this when you're making one of these tool cases is the layout, because you're working with your own tools, and if you make a mistake, the tools won't fit. So it's important to also give yourself some flexibility if you ever change a tool. So I've set it up with flexibility in mind, a little more versatility in mind, so I can actually have longer chisels. But this is probably my longest chisel right now. So that would be it. The next step is, so it's done to scale. The next step is to actually prepare the wood, and I'll give a little brief video on the wood I've selected. It's walnut, and one of the planks I have, and I'm going to break it down and use that to be able to create this along with some inner components. So we're in a different part of my workshop at the moment. This is another level, and this is where I have quite a few pieces of machinery I don't often use anymore, many of them, but I do use this miter station to break down my, my large long wood planks into usable components. I can bring them up to my other level and work with hand tools. So I'm going to be using walnut, as I mentioned, for that portable tool case, and this is one of the planks I've found in my inventory. I have quite a bit of inventory down here also, and I have a veneering station and a finishing area. So this is a walnut plank that I've had for a number of years. It's not the best quality, it's not the top quality, it's probably second or third rate walnut, but I had a difficult time trying to use it for furniture because of the flaws, the little knots, the large knots, the cracks. So I have just enough usable wood here to be able to break it down and lay it out for that portable tool case. The components aren't as large for the portable tool case, so I'm able to work with this, and hopefully I can get everything I need from this one plank. It's not, like I said, it's not the highest quality piece of walnut, but I've been saving it, and for an application. I probably purchased it to make a jewelry box with, I'm not sure. So I do use this miter station quite a bit. I break down my wood and then into usable components so I can bring up to my my hand tool area. And I do have a second plank, similar plank. I probably purchased them both at the same time. It's a little better, so I'm trying to save this one for some furniture possibly, but if necessary I'll break this down also and use a part of it for the portable tool case. I don't think I'll need to. I think I've got enough with this for it. So that's an option. So again, at this level I have a few machines. I don't use all the machines all the time anymore. I have a veneering station I do use. I have another workbench at the other end, and this is my finishing area. And this miter station that I built quite a number of years ago. It's custom for this sliding miter saw that I use quite a bit to break the wood down so I can bring it up to my upper level, my hand tool area, and work with wood. So I'll get going with that, and we'll proceed with the next step. So please subscribe to my YouTube woodworking channel, where I share more of my woodworking techniques, my woodworking philosophy, my thoughts on woodworking, and all the challenges I've experienced, and I introduce some of the new forms of woodworking I've discovered. And also visit woodskills.com, where I have a good selection of my books, both in print and digital format, on woodworking, and all my online courses, and I also offer woodworking plans. I have maintained a regular blog on what I've got going on in my workshop and in woodworking in general. So enjoy.